So, the PlayStation Classic has already been hacked, it seems, and honestly, I'm not surprised at all that it happened so quickly. Um, and right now, I'm just giving my thoughts on the hacking the PlayStation Classic and what I think about it. Well, usually I'm against all kind of hacking because, yeah, in this case, when you or any other case when you download all those game files to your PC or in this case PlayStation Classic and whatnot, uh, it's illegal and I just don't like that at all. Uh, I mean, you should at least have own a copy of the game that you are going to download. Then I think it's fine. It's on the level of being fine, I would say. Uh, Barely fine in my books, but yeah, fine nonetheless. And yeah, it seems that one way to add new games to the PlayStation Classic is using a USB drive. Uh, Downloading games to the USB drive and putting it on a controller port. Uh, and that makes me wonder. I'm not really a tech savvy guy, so I'm not sure how it works and all. But does that mean when you put new games on the Classic, because it uses one of those two USB ports that are for controllers. If that game that you add to PlayStation Classic has a two-player multiplayer, you can't play it because the other controller port is for the USB drive. So I don't know if you need to keep that USB drive while playing that game, that added game, or can you remove it once once it is in the PlayStation Classic? So I honestly don't know how it works, but just that came to my mind that there might be a problem. But yeah, it's fine if it's like that you put the USB drive on the controller board and then you can remove it after you have put the game on the Classic. Then of course you can play the multiplayer. Um, but yeah, and I think that to those who were so disappointed at those pre-installed 20 games, I think at least they can now happily play with the PlayStation Classic their own games that they want to play, that they have added to that console. So good for them if that is what makes them like the console more. So yeah, that's fine by me. But like I said million times, I'm actually happy with the 20 games and I don't plan to add any games, even if it's easy as hell. I won't be doing that. It's just because I appreciate Sony that much that I just appreciate those 20 games that they put on it. And yeah, Also, there's been news on the, was it 36 rejected games that were planned to be on the console, games like Silent Hill, Soul Reaver, Tomb Raider 1 and 2, Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2, Gran Turismo 1, and etc. Uh, so I think there's a big reason why those games were rejected, because there probably was some serious bugs in the emulation, or just many big small bugs, or some even game stopping bugs and glitches, sound glitches, or whatever. I think there is a reason why those games weren't included. And I must say, uh, I'm kind of sad that I didn't see Silent Hill and say Soul Reaver, and because those are one of my favorite action adventure games on the PS1. But still, I won't be downloading those games and put those games on a classic, because it's just a question of principle for me. Yeah, pretty much. So, uh, and talking about, I've also heard many say that what's the point of even releasing a PlayStation Classic when you can just download uh, those game ROMs to your PC and play with the emulator on your PC. Uh, well, here's my thought about it. I think the authenticity is the key word here, because you just you just can't get the authenticity and the same feeling when playing those emulated PS1 games on your PC. Uh, I have tried playing couple of PlayStation games on a PC years and years ago, and they just didn't work for me, because I didn't get the same feeling than when you play with the original controller and through your TV. Uh, I mean, that makes it much more authentic, as close as the original it is, the feeling, the more authentic it is, I think. Um, so yeah, and uh, back in when I had PSP and PlayStation Vita, I also bought many PS classics from the PlayStation Store and played them on my PSP, and later played them on my PS Vita. But it just didn't have that magic when I originally played back in 90s those PlayStation 1 games on the original PlayStation, because first of all, I played it on a handheld console. It just didn't feel the same, and the controls on the PSP, the directional pad and the directional pad on the PS Vita, they just don't have the same great feeling that it has on the original PlayStation 1 controller. So yeah, for me it's so much about the feeling of playing those games, not just play them. You know what I mean? Uh, the feeling is so important to me, and just comparing my experiences when playing on the PSP and PS Vita, those PlayStation Classic games from the store, and comparing them to now that I have played those 20 games on the PlayStation Classic, there's a huge difference. There's so big difference in authenticity and just the feeling of playing those games. I mean, I got the feeling when playing PlayStation Classic through my TV with the original controller that I have time traveled back 20 years. I really got that feeling, and I was so glad because that was my, I wanted to have that feeling, and I really got that feeling. I was feeling 20 years younger, kind of. Uh, those memories just came to my mind because it was so close to the feeling of the original experience on the original PlayStation. So, yeah, it's just so important to me, the authenticity and keeping it as close to the original experience. And I just got that experience when playing with the PlayStation Classic. Uh, so yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my thoughts on the hacking and authenticity of the feeling of playing those PlayStation 1 games. So I hope I didn't forget any important things I needed to say. But yeah, overall, I don't blame those that will be adding games they want to play to their PlayStation because they had at least bought that console. So uh, yeah, if that is the reason they will get excited about the PlayStation Classic, that they can now add their own favorite games, then great for you. I'm really, really happy for you that you now can actually enjoy the PlayStation Classic. Yes. So, see you at the next video. I don't know when that happens, but when I have something important to say and clear my mind of something that either bothers me or I just want to share my thoughts on something. Yeah. See you at the next one. So for now, bye.